Hi, I'm Alex with Crown Rail Stoves, and today we are going to be demonstrating how to replace the door gasket seal on the Firebox door. We've got one here we've pulled off of a stove already. We always recommend to pull the doors off of the boilers before you do this process. It makes it easier, and typically you're going to want to give the silicone a couple days to cure before putting the door back into use. So it's always a good idea to do this, in the off season when you have no intentions on burning the boiler. So to start off, we've got some tools here to help us with this. We are going to try to get the old seal out. I've got a knife, I've got a screwdriver here. We're going to see if we can make that happen. And then we've got our door rope here, which you can get from your local dealer. They can also ship it to you, so they make it easy. This is really good stuff. It's silicone coated. This is comes directly from Crown Rail Stoves. So yeah, let's get to it. So to remove the door, you're going to use a couple 3/4 inch wrenches. Ratcheting will make your life a lot easier. Cordless impact, but basically you're just going to be removing a couple of the locking nuts from the door pins. Pull the pins, and just like that. I mean, it's really easy. Once you get it to this part here, it's just a matter of pulling the old rope out. We're going to do some cleaning up around the inside of the door inner, and then we'll get the rope in there, and I'll demonstrate how to get these nice flush corners. We actually build that up with high temp silicone. Typically, it depends on which model boiler you have, what type of fuel you're burning in the boiler, and there's just a lot of factors that come into play when it comes to how long you can expect this door gasket to last. I will say this: we typically see 3 to 5 years more lifespan with this silicone coated door rope than your typical fireplace 1-inch door gasket. This high temp silicone coated stuff, it really shines. And this is actually off of an older stove. If you look closely here, you can see there's actually still a lot of flexibility to this. This boiler is about 6, 7 years old, and there was truly nothing wrong with this door gasket, but we thought, it'd be a good idea to do a video. So we pulled it off. The customer's happy. He's getting a new door gasket. So yeah, I think we'll dive into this. I've already kind of got it started here. I'm going to use a screwdriver to just break the rope out from the inner. Okay, so now that we've got the door rope out, I'll just tip the door up here. I've got a paper towel. I'm just going to kind of brush the inside there where that rope was sitting, just get all the debris and stuff out of it. It really doesn't have to be overly clean. That silicone is it'll stick to just about anything. So we've got that done now. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to measure the rope. So to get the exact length, I'm just going to dry fit it. And I like to put the seam, if you've got the door in front of you, the hinges are on the left-hand side. I like to put the seam on the bottom here and kind of towards the corner. So I'm going to cut the rope about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch longer than what is actually needed. I'd say about 1/2 inch. Okay, so now that we've got our rope pre-measured, we'll get that out of there. And, you know, depending on how dirty your door is with creosote, you may want to take a wire brush and go around and kind of clean it up a little bit. This door wasn't bad, so I'm just going to leave it. It really doesn't have much on it. So I think we can leave this. I've got this auto caulk gun here, cordless, battery operated, but as shown in the video earlier, you can just use a standard caulk gun. We've got some high temp silicone. Your Crown Rail Stoves dealer will have access to this stuff, and they can ship this to you with the rope. Typically, when you buy rope, your dealer will recommend this. This is really good stuff. And then we've also got this little spreader tool that's going to be really nice and handy for trying to get those corners nice and flush and built up, so you get a good seal around the door frame. And then you will want some paper towel. If you want to wear gloves for this, you can. I'm not going to. It doesn't bother me any. I'm usually pretty clean about it. I've done enough of them. Okay, we're ready to apply our silicone to the door. What you're going to want is about an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch bead of silicone all the way around. So we'll start by doing that. Now that we've got our silicone in, we can start applying our door rope. And you're just going to lightly press it in for now. I can turn this a little bit so you can see that actually came out to be perfect. I cut it a little longer when I had it dry fit in there, and it came out perfect. That's why I always cut it a little bit long. And if it is hanging over, then you can just kind of work it, and then you'll get a perfect seam. Now that the rope is inserted in the door, we're just gonna go around and press it into that silicone. You want the rope to be flush all the way across. You don't want to see any waves or humps, because once that silicone sets up, that door rope, you know, wherever it's placed, it's going to stay. So you want to have a nice flat, flush surface for the door to make a good seal. Once that's done, first thing I like to do is I like to take and put a little silicone right inside of that seam. So what I did there was I just squirted the silicone right into the seam, and you can see it's kind of come up a little bit there. We'll take the spreader tool and just kind of clean that up. Next, what I like to do is fill these corners. This will really make a nice seal on the door frame if we can build up a little silicone here. Now it may seem like there's an excessive amount of silicone, but it's much easier to work with a little bit more silicone than you need than not enough and have to reapply. I'm just gonna take my spreader and I'm gonna kind of lay it down on its edge with at a little bit of an angle. So once it's down there, I'm gonna angle it just a little bit. And you'll see it's flat here on the rope, but out here, it's kind of built up. I'm gonna do that same thing, except for now I'm gonna go across the whole corner. Then I'll take the spreader and go around the outside. And you've got the perfect corner. You want it to be flat at the rope and built up a little bit on the outside of the corner. Now I put silicone on all 4 of these corners. If you're not confident you're going to be able to do a corner that quickly, I recommend just doing 1 corner at a time, because this stuff will start setting up, and once it starts setting up, it becomes pretty difficult to work with. If it looks like it's a little bit too high, you can always try it again. I'm going to push that rope in there a little bit. It looked like it was kind of coming up. So I'll just go over the whole thing one more time, because you don't want to build it up too high, or the door won't make a good seal around the area that's higher than the rope. So you want it to be pretty flush with the rope. So now we've got our rope installed, we've got our corners filled in. One last step, we're going to put a bead of silicone all the way around the door inner to seal up the gap between the rope and the inner. And I'm just going to take my finger and press it into the seam. Again, I recommend wearing gloves. And that's it. That's how you replace the door gasket on a Crown Royal stoves. This is a Firebox door, but that same process would be used on the ash pan door, the heat exchange door. If you have a Pristine series, you've got the blower door and the rear clean out. It's all going to be the same process. I'm going to let this sit for a couple days to cure. If it's, cooler temps, if the door is sitting in cooler temps, it could take, up to 3 days. When we go to reinstall this door, it may be possible we'll have to make some adjustments. If you find that the door is too difficult to close, or perhaps it's not sealing up the way you want it to, and a simple door adjustment may be needed. We do have some videos on that, depending on which boiler you have, the Pristine or an older MP. The MPs now do have the roller latch style doors, so that would be the same video. But typically when you do this, you're not going to have to make an adjustment. There's some rare cases where you might. So check that video out if needed. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for being a part of the Crown Royal Stoves family. If you have any other questions concerning this or anything other maintenance on your stove, feel free to contact us. You can call us. You can go on our website. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day.